the Pretzer Show. I'm very pleased to have Peter R. de Vries, Dutch crime reporter, with me this evening to talk about the Natalie Holloway investigation and most recently the sting operation, and where he and his team were able to capture Mr. Joran van der Sloot and get a confession from him, something that the Aruban police were not able to do after 2.5 years. Peter R. de Vries, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, too. How are you?
I'm very good. 2.5 years later, I covered this program on my program many times. The disappearance of Natalie Holloway, talking to her mother, father, stepfather, you name it, everyone involved. One thing that no one expected was to see this come out. I have to congratulate you and your team, sir, for a job well done. But being a crime reporter for as long as you've been, did you expect that you would have to go to this extent and the police weren't able to?
Well, you never know, of course. I did an investigation on Aruba 18 months ago. And when I was there and saw everything, it all happened in 500 square meters. Considering the lies Joran van der Sloot already told, I was thinking this case can be and must be solved, and that's why I continued.
The experience that you've had over 30 years, have you ever been involved with a person like Joran van der Sloot, the type of personality that he is, the type of, some would say, narcissistic or sociopathic traits that he shows? Have you ever had any case like this before, or is this the first time?
Oh yeah, I've seen many people like him in all the cases I've been investigating. In 30 years I have been investigating for almost 500 murder and disappearances, and I saw this kind of people many times. They have no regrets, they speak with disrespect about the victim, no remorse at all, and they only feel pity for themselves. I've seen that many times.
That's very well said, because when we watch the interview, you see the response that van der Sloot gives. It must have been so difficult for the family, in particular Beth Holloway, Dave Holloway, Jug Twitty, to see this. What sort of reaction did you get from Beth at the time? Of course, we saw what we saw on the television program, but we didn't see all the behind-the-scenes information. How did Beth react?
Beth reacted very emotional, and well, of course, you can imagine that she was outraged about it, because the lack of respect. He was calling her the bitch and the whore all the time, and well, that's the most awful thing which can happen for a mother who lost her child.
Dutch crime reporter Peter R. de Vries joins us this evening. Peter, the case itself, we're hearing in the news here that authorities have delayed the decision as far as rearresting van der Sloot. This case has bounced around so many different times, and so many arrests and rearrests, and we don't really know what's going to happen. The confidence, I guess, in the Aruban authorities is, well, at one time at an all-time low. Is it possible for you to comment on where you think this case will go next, or maybe you just don't know?
Well, I'm quite sure that Joran van der Sloot will stand trial sooner or later. I'm pretty sure about that.
Now, with the as you know, being involved in crime reporting for so long, and my audience and myself, not only as a talk show host but as a law enforcement officer, we know that confessions aren't always word for word the truth, and we hear this term or this name Drury come up as far as who this person is and what they've been. A lot of speculation. What can you tell us? And a lot of people are saying that Drury is actually Paulus van der Sloot.
Well, I don't know that, but what I can say is that I have the impression that Joran van der Sloot is protecting somebody else by mentioning the name of dowry. During the first drive, he told Patrick, our infiltrant, I'm never gonna mention the name of the guy who helped me. I will take that into my grave. And the next day, when we instructed the infiltrant to push a little bit on that name, and he was asking, why don't you tell me, you can trust me, and etc. And then he mentioned the name dowry, but already at that moment we had the impression that he was protecting somebody else and just mentioned the name. So, and who the helper really is, well, that's speculating.
Exactly, and hopefully the Reuben law enforcement and law enforcement investigators are working on that. Let's talk about you a little bit here. Again, your experience, as long as you've been involved in a case like this, the international news media have been all over this case for such a long time, both looking at it so many different ways. The case has been spun so many ways. I know that you've probably been very busy in the media. How do you think that the international media have done covering the disappearance of Natalie Holloway?
Well, of course, there was a lot of media attention over this disappearance, but it was only attention. Just a few people did really investigative journalism.
Exactly.
That's the point. Most of the media is not doing really investigation, but is only taking things over. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
They don't investigate by themselves, but they are just doing stand-uppers at the beach and not knowing anything.
What's next for you and your team? I'm sure you're quite busy.
Well, we continue our investigation, and at this moment we consider the case as solved in the way that Joran did a confessional tape, not once, not twice, but more than 10 times on several days. Together with the evidence which was already lying there, I think you can say the case is solved. But now it's up to the justice system to get him into jail.
Absolutely. Well, Peter, I want to thank you, of course, on behalf of myself and my audience for doing something that law enforcement were not able to do, to bring some answers to the family that long deserved them. Of course, we all hope that Natalie will be recovered, found, and taken home where she belongs, and those responsible will be brought to justice. Again, I want to thank you and congratulate you for a job well done.
Okay, thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Okay.